Loads of people dream of starting a YouTube channel in the hopes of becoming the next David Dobrik or MrBeast, and it's pretty easy to understand why. These famous YouTubers are rolling in money, but just how rich can our favorite e-celebs get off their videos and ever-expanding sub counts? The real numbers are sure to shock you. That's why we're about to unload the biggest, richest, and most famous YouTube success stories the world has ever seen. And you won't believe how much these YouTubers are actually making. Ready to take a look? Let's get it on! MrBeast, arguably being the inventor of the now massively successful genre of videos where a YouTuber gives away or spends a ridiculous amount of money to some group of people at just 22 years old, it isn't a stretch of the imagination to state that MrBeast is one of the most influential figures in the history of this platform. Of course, you can't be giving away millions without first having and making millions, and that's what we're all here to hear. Just how much cold hard cash is MrBeast pulling in? Well, that number is hard to lock down because MrBeast has one of the most successful merch empires in YouTube history, with a recent video of his showing that he sold more than 67,000 limited edition shirts and hoodies within a 24-hour sale. At the lowest price, that's over $2 million made in a day, and the hoodies cost double that amount. With all his insane spending, like giving away an $800,000 island or giving away $1 million cash every time he throws a competition, we know he's pulling in some undeniably monstrous dough. Still, let's look at numbers from nothing but his YouTube views, because even that fraction of his income is enough to blow your mind. In an average year, the main MrBeast channel makes $13,860,000, and honestly, that's still a pretty conservative estimate. That's more than $160 every single minute. Talk about making money from your dreams. Pewdiepie. The undeniable king of gamers in YouTube, Felix Schellberg is leaps and bounds the most subscribed to YouTuber on the planet. With the incredibly long-lasting dynasty PewDiePie's built, it's no surprise that being the only person to ever gain more than 100 million subscribers is a very lucrative spot to be in. Aside from his personal brand and his ever-changing high-quality merch lineups, Felix drops a different video every single day, usually pulling in between 6 and 10 million views. Numbers like that are what let him own homes in both England and Japan, and keep updating his closet full of designer clothes. So what kind of numbers does a channel getting billions of views a year generate? Well, conservative estimates place PewDiePie's annual ad revenue above $12.2 million per year. While he isn't quite the type to flex, in a 2019 video where he analyzed websites guessing his net worth, he claimed that the numbers were still
increased his net worth to 68 million. Very old data, isn't it?
In the face of his incredible success, Felix remains a humble and relatable guy. And that's exactly what keeps us all coming back for more. David Dobrik, one of the most famous vloggers in the history of YouTube, Slovakian-born David Dobrik has done incredibly well for himself at the young age of 24. With multiple channels, each boasting tens of millions of subscribers, it isn't hard to understand how David keeps surprising his friends with Teslas and Lamborghinis, on top of keeping a $120,000 Model X and a $240,000 Ferrari for his own enjoyment. I mean, you've got to have an appropriate couple of luxury vehicles when you're living it up on a $9.5 million mansion in the heart of Los Angeles. But how does David Dobrik get it all done? Well, with an average of nearly 4 million views on his channel per day, it's estimated that Dobrik's pulling in around $6.6 million a year from AdSense alone. Of course, with status that high, sponsorships and merch sales make up a much larger chunk of his true income, so his channel's revenue is probably just going into a hefty retirement account for when his Tesla Model X can drive itself to a mansion on Mars, which I'm sure David will happily be vlogging about along the way.